Hello, my name is Christine and I'm from House of Smocking, and today I'm going to show you how to do plackets. A placket is just a binding to a slit in fabric. So if this was a sleeve, or it could be the back of a dress, then you make your slit for the length that you want the opening to be, and you make your placket twice that distance. So I've got the right side of the fabric facing upwards, and I'm going to put the right side of the placket facing downwards on top. Okay, and then I turn my fabric over so that it's lined up with that slit, and then I'm just going to pin the top edge in place, like so. And then I'm going to move the rest of the fabric out of the way while I line the other edge of the fabric to the bottom edge of my placket. Okay. And I'm just going to pin in place. Okay. And then I just hold that out straight. I'm going to take the rest of the fabric and I'm just going to move it out of the way. And then what I want to do, so I'm just going to pull that and pin that at either side. Okay. With this fabric out of the way. And the idea is that you sew a straight seam from the top edge all the way down, but you want to just catch the edge of the fabric there without catching pleats or folds in the fabric. But what the important thing is to remember is that you need the sewing line that you're going to do to be parallel with this outer edge all the way down. So in this bit you can see how I've done my seam allowance, and I've taken my seam all the way through, just catching the top edge of the pink fabric at the top all the way through, and it's parallel. It's the same distance from my sewing line as it is to the outer edge of the placket all the way along, and that's very important. So we turn it over, and then we can flatten our seam and press our seam. I'll just use my nail for this video. Press the seam flat, and then if you turn it over, again keeping all the fabric out of your way there, and then we can turn our seam allowance over on the other side, and you would press that in place and then fold that over, and you can slip stitch down this edge all the way down. Okay, so it's the same all the way across. So now you can see how I've just slip stitched the edge over. I folded it over and I've just slip stitched it to the seam line. Now I've done it in red so that you can see what I'm doing. So there we have. Now, when I mentioned before it was important to get your seam allowance dead straight and parallel, this is so that your placket is the same width when you fold it over all the way along. So if you turn it over, you'll see that's the right side, and then if you fold it in half with the right sides together, because you only caught a very tiny little bit of fabric there, I'm going to do a seam line of stitches across there at a diagonal. And what happens is that when I turn that over and I've sewn it in place, then any pressure on the placket is then on that seam sewn line, as opposed to the weak point where you've just caught the fabric edge there. So here you can see how I've done the little sewing line across, so that when you open your sleeve up, okay, then that's where the pressure is taken up on that diagonal sewing line if you're tugging on the sleeve rather than this point. So you'll see the placket's all done. We would fold that over, and that would get sewn down flat, and that would get left open, and then you'd gather these two edges and add your cuff on it, Okay, I'm hoping that's explained how easy plackets are to do, and you can see on the inside there. Okay. Thank you.